Kamera again. We're on day number 108, 1 King chapter 15 through 17. These three books are long. I'm going to try to get through them as fast as I can and cover as much as I can. So now, guys, we have two different kings throughout from this point on. We have King of Israel and we have the King of Judah. Rehoboam, the king of Judah, is now dead. His son Abijam is now king. He came into play the 18th year of Jeroboam. Jeroboam is going to reign in his position for 22 years. Now we're in the 18th year of Jeroboam, and King Abijam becomes king of Judah. King Abijam is also the descendant. Not only is he a descendant of the son of Rehoboam, he's also a descendant from Absalom. So he's from the lineage of David on both parts, his mother's side and his father's side. Isn't that something? So Abijam did not lead a life pleasing to God, and he only reigned for 3 years. After him came the King Asa. King Asa was actually faithful to God. King Asa came in the 20th year of Jeroboam. So Jeroboam outlived Rehoboam, and he outlived Abijam. And now he's king when King Asa becomes king of Judah. King Asa reigned for 41 years. He was so faithful to God, he tore down all the Asherah poles, all the shrines. There were male and prostitute shrines. He tore them down. He even removed his grandmother as queen mother because she had this obscene Asherah pole erupted, and he tore that down. And he burned that. So he was totally faithful to God. The biggest thorn in Asa's side was the next king. After Jeroboam died, his son Nadab became king. After Nadab, then Baasha. Baasha was the worst. He was the biggest thorn in King Asa's side. They warred throughout Baasha's reign, and it was so bad that Baasha built this fortified wall around Judah, and he wouldn't allow anyone to leave Judah and wouldn't allow anyone to enter it. One of the great things King Asa did was he replaced a lot of the items that were removed from the temple. He placed them back in there. They weren't gold like they were before, a lot of them, but he did replace silver and gold back into the temple. The remaining items that were in the treasury and in the palace and the treasury for the temple, he gave those to King of Aram, and as a form of alliance. He wanted to build an alliance with them because he needed some help to get Baasha out of his way. So once he built that alliance with King of Aram, Aram helped him out, got rid of the problem with Baasha. He backed off. So King Asa, again, he was faithful to God. And once he was done, his reign was 41 years. And once he died, his son Jehoshaphat came into place. But Jehoshaphat, we don't really talk too much about him in these next few chapters. We'll probably talk about him after that. But for now, we're not going to discuss Jehoshaphat. We're going to go back to Israel. Remember, there's two kings, one in Judah, one in Israel. So after Jeroboam died, his son Nadab came into play. And Nadab only reigned for 2 years. He came in the 2nd year of King Asa. The 2nd year, and he lived just like his dad lived. And remember, if I'm not mistaken, Jeroboam came from the tribe of Ephraim. Nadab came from the tribe of Ephraim. You'll notice that with the king of Judah, the kings of Judah always come from that lineage of David, always. The kings of Israel come from different tribes in Israel. So right now, Nadab is from Ephraim. And he only reigned for 2 years. He lived just like his dad lived, totally against what was pleasing to God. And what did Jeroboam do? He encouraged the people to sin against God. They worship other idols. They worship idols. And so, yeah, after him, though, was Baasha. That was the one who gave Asa troubles. So Baasha, that dude, he comes from Issachar, the tribe of Issachar, and he reigned for 24 years. He came in the 3rd year of Asa, but he reigned for 24 years. This dude here, he killed everybody. He killed all of the descendants of Jeroboam, all of their descendants. But then God said that he was going to allow it to happen with Jeroboam people anyway. So yeah, and Baasha was the one who did it. How about a prophet of God visited Baasha, and the prophet told him, what God told him to tell him. I raised you from sand up into a king of all of Israel, and you've totally disrespected me, probably worse than Jeroboam had. And so he gave him the same punishment or the same decree. I'm going to destroy your entire lineage. Anyone who dies in the city, they're going to be eaten up by dogs. And anyone who dies in the field, they're going to be eaten up by vultures. That was the same decree he gave Jeroboam. And so he gave that to Baasha. Baasha was constant war with King Asa. And yeah, he reigned for 24 years. After him was his descendant Elah. Elah, he reigned in the 26th year of King Asa. And he reigned for 2 years. Get this. How did this dude die? He was killed by the palace supervisor. Supervisor Zimri, palace supervisor. Zimri was off the chain, though. This boy, when I say he slaughtered everybody, he slaughtered everybody. He slaughtered every relative of Elah. He killed even the distant relatives. You know, Elah's relatives were also Baasha relatives. Killed every last one of the distant relatives and the friends. Zimri, the supervisor of the palace supervisor. And so he only, though, reigned for like 7 days. He only reigned for 7 days. The way this dude died, though, first of all, when the army of Israel heard that Zimri had committed treason by killing the king Elah, they had appointed the king to Omri. And so they went to attack Philistines, and something happened where Zimri heard about it. Zimri goes and he burned a citadel, and he goes into the flame and he dies too. So he basically committed suicide when you think about it. Was it an accident when he burned the citadel, or was it suicide? I'm thinking it was suicide. The flames burned his butt up. He didn't get assassinated. He assassinated his own self. So Omri, again, he was appointed king, but get this. There were some supporters of this other person, Tibni. Omri was a commander. Tibni was a commander as well. Omri's supporters killed the supporters of Tibni and killed Tibni. So yeah, Omri is king. So look at this. Omri, he reigned in Israel. And his reign, he started to reign the 31st year of Asa. King Asa is still king of Judah when Omri comes on. So King Asa actually saw a few kings. He saw Jeroboam, he saw Nadab, he saw Elah, he saw Elah, he saw Zimri and Timnah, and he also see Omri. So yeah, so Omri, he reigned for 12 years. So he did see the death of King Asa, but Omri, where Omri is concerned, Omri, he purchased this land and he named it Samaria. So Samaria is now formed. Remember, we're going to hear about Samaria throughout the Bible as well. But yeah, Omri, he lived a detestable life as well. You'll notice that those different kings of Israel, all of them, none of them followed God. None of them. Judah, a good portion of their kings did follow God, like King Asa. He was a faithful follower of God. But those kings in Israel, they just followed those shrines, those Asherah poles, Baal and all of them. And Baal comes into place, if I'm not mistaken, with Ahab. Ahab is the next king after Omri. What else? I don't want to forget anything. Well, you guys, I can't cover everything. You have to read this yourself. There's so much to cover. I'm trying to do these videos as short as I can, which is not always successful. But yeah, please read the word. You guys are going to see so much drama. It's like that's where the movies come from. So it's lots of drama, lots of drama. Ahab becomes a king after Omri. And Ahab, basically, if I'm not mistaken, God says he even did even worse than the kings before him. King of Israel, King Ahab, is the next king after Omri, and he reigns in the 38th year of Asa. Was it Asa? Yeah, I guess so. He was the 38th year of Asa. That's what I'm reading here. And he reigned 22 years. And get this dude here, he marries Jezebel. So Jezebel is not a good supporting wife when it comes to righteousness, not even a little bit. And then you have Ahab, who was still following the detestable things as his fathers before him. And yeah, he was not a faithful king to God. Man of Judah at this time decided he wants to build Jericho. This guy, as he built the wall, his oldest son died. As he built the wall, his youngest son died. And that right there, guys, fulfilled the prophecy that came when Joshua was in place at that time. So get this, guys. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on. So now we're going into Eli. Elijah comes into place at this time. Elijah is a great prophet of God. Ahab, crazy stuff going on. God sends Elijah into place. Elijah says, "I'm going to stop it from raining for a while." And God honors his prayer where there's no rain. God sends him to this brook. At this brook, God allows ravens to feed the prophet Elijah morning and evening. These ravens are bringing Elijah food. Brook dries up. God sends the prophet Elijah to the Zarephath widow. And he tells Elijah, this widow knows that you're coming. I love the fact that God warns the widow before he comes. That's why I tell people, when God have a message for you, you better believe it. If it's from a prophet, he told you first. And that prophet is coming there to confirm. Just from what I read in the word, I picked that up. And so get this. He goes to after the brook dries up, Elijah goes to this widow woman. Widow woman said, I don't have any bread. All I have is flour, and I have just a handful of flour and a small amount of oil. And she basically tells him that's all she has. Guess what Elijah tells this woman to do? Make me a bread and then feed your son. God is going to make sure that you always have food during this entire drought, this entire famine. And so that's what she does. She makes that bread and she feeds the prophet Elijah first. Okay, Aiden, here we go. Aiden needs to speak, right? What do you want, buddy? You want to say hi? Say hi. All right, there we go. So let me finish up about with Elijah. Elijah, the prophet of Elijah. Okay, he's been fed during the famine through this widow woman who has a son. And get this, during this time, her son died. After a while, her son dies. And she's like, man of God, what's up with this? What you do? And so then Elijah lost too. He takes the boy. Dude, really? He takes the boy, takes him to the room where he was staying. And he even confronts God. God, what's going on? Why'd you allow this to happen? Basically, but get this, God heals the boy. Isn't that something? So this woman was blessed just because she blessed the man of God. Yes, her son lives. She lives through this famine. She only had a little bit of flour and a little bit of oil. After that, they were going to die of starvation. Now, years later, they're still together, right? And so they're still living. Son dies. Even still, God brings them. So she's blessed because she's taking care of the man of God. Isn't that something to think about? Well, guys, read this word. I know I didn't cover everything. I'm just giving you a small taste of what I'm reading. But there's so much I'm sure I missed. So, guys, get in that word. Ask God to give you understanding. So much drama. It's not even boring, not even a little bit. So ask God to help you to understand. Notice that those people who are not living to a life pleasing to God, which is now to just be obedient to God. Have no other God before him. Don't turn your back on him. Live a selfless life and be that light. Show love to people I need you to show love to. Let it be from your heart. You have a problem with it? Ask me. I'll help you. And so that's what God requires of us. These kings are having a hard time. They have all this power and they're serving these other idols and bad things happen. That's Judah. I don't think they had not one good, faithful king. No, I'm sorry. Oh, forgive me. Israel. I don't think Israel had not one faithful king to God. Okay, Judah had a good share of faithful kings to God, but they did have some that were not faithful to God. So guys, read this word. Ask God what does he want you to understand out of this entire word. Help you to accept what he wants you to learn. Okay, so guys, that was day number 108, 1 Kings chapter 15 through chapter 17. So you guys have a God-filled, blessed day. Say bye, Aiden. Bye.